So I've done another video on reviewing the Smartcoop, and at that point we only had it for a few weeks. Now it's been several months, and this video is going to be why we don't recommend the Smartcoop, what went wrong with our old coop, our building of this new coop that we're doing, everything that we've learned so far. And I've gotten a few messages on YouTube and Instagram of, you know, if we could do an update or like what happened to our old hobbit coop. This is gonna have all of that and more. And the reason we haven't been updating is like we've both been super busy, but we've also been sick, and I'm still not 100%. My husband's getting sick again, so it's been a crazy few months. But there's a chicken watching the thing there. But we're hoping that you come along and you can see it's going to be a very juicy video filled with lots of things. And yeah, I'm so happy to get rid of this one. So we are no longer using the Smartcoop. We had a lot of bad experiences with it, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. This was the nesting box, and right now it's being used as a bench, and it's not that great at that either. There is just so many problems with this coop that it's hard to even know where to begin with it. When I first did my review video, it was probably like a good 6 weeks of using that coop, and it was working fine. But then shortly after that video, around August, the cameras that make the coop smart, because you have an app that detects animals and all sorts of other critters, the cameras stopped working. They wouldn't hold a charge anymore. I would try to leave them to charge for longer periods, and then all of a sudden it was like every couple days it needed a charge again, which is insane. Like, because I would have to take the camera from the coop, take it inside the house, charge it up, and I know they have a solar panel option for it, but it's also another couple $100 for it, and the camera's already like $200 or so. And plus, once we like couldn't get the cameras to work, you're still having to pay $7 a month for their app to be able to tell you what the camera's seeing. Well, I no longer had cameras that were working because one went and then the other one followed soon after. So by September, the cameras completely like were kaput. They like stopped working completely. They wouldn't hold a charge. The thing about my area is that we don't really hit our summer until August, September. So this was just like one thing after another of this scoop, because we live in a very mild Mediterranean climate, but then we start seeing temperatures in the 80s and close to 90s in like August, September time, and then the chickens just like stopped using the nesting box. So they were literally just going in this Smartcoop to roost at night. They stopped completely using the nesting box, which the big girls weren't using it anyway. I put it in my review that the big girls just refused to go in the nesting box in the first place. So only 3 of the chickens were already using it, and then all of them stopped using it because it was just so hot. And then it's like, okay, I have a chicken coop where it's supposed to be smart, but it doesn't actually like do the things it's supposed to do that they advertise for. The chickens won't even lay in there. And then it was getting to the point where I was just like so fed up with it, because their food containers were just getting caked in poop, because they designed the coop so small that the chickens would essentially be pooping over their food container. And at first was like, oh, I can just go in and scrape it every day. But that's also a lot for you to do for a coop that says they're supposed to be like really easy and low key. And then some very smart, out of the box thinking chicken might have had the perfect angle and just pooped straight into the food. And that was pretty much, I can't have this anymore. and it's time for the scoop to go. The Smartcoop is nothing but an overpriced Fisher-Price playhouse, because the fact that it failed so quickly, it's like the biggest waste of money that you can possibly get, and we absolutely do not recommend this at all. Maybe the company at some point will upgrade it. Maybe they will do something to fix it. Oh my god. Okay, this thing is not even a good bench because I can feel myself like sinking into this plastic. One of the other big issues that we had with this Coop is the fact that the plastic seemed to hold on to smells. They say that it's like easier to clean and whatever. Our old Coop that I'll get into it later in the video, we had like water issues, and that one still didn't have like the smell issues that the Smartcoop did. I was basically cleaning this Coop every week because the amount of the smells that would accumulate in the Coop was just insane. Because they say there's like air going through it and whatever, but the fact that you would still have chickens when they're roosting, right, pooping on the back wall. So all of a sudden you would have like just these poop smears, and that was something that I was constantly having to clean out of this Coop. And if I didn't get to it right away, I noticed that smell started accumulating. So it's like not good for your chickens to be breathing in all of that like ammonia and like all that buildup smell. And no matter how well I tried to clean it, like I couldn't get it out. And it's not like I can just like take out the Coop, soak it in like some like, you know, baking soda or bleach or something for a day, because they're still going to need the Coop. So it's like, what's the point? So we basically just got to a point with the Smartcoop that's like, screw it, like we need to get rid of this thing. It's not worth it. We were just getting like one thing after another and just getting super annoyed with it. So if you want to try the Smartcoop, do it at your own caution, because you might end up with the same disappointments that we did. But I know, you just want pets, you just want pets. This is one of those cases where sometimes you think you have a really good idea and then it really goes poorly. And that's our chicken coop, unfortunately. We ended up using birch plywood that was like cabinet grade stuff, like super good for building cabinetry, not so great for building a chicken coop that's going to have to deal with the elements. This year we had a lot of rain, as we've been getting in our area here in California, and this did not stand up to the elements. We ended up having to put a tarp over the run because we didn't have a good weather solution for them. So we purchased a chicken coop, and I'm going to be building that because it really solves all of the things that I wanted. It's also going to save us some time so we can demo this coop, fix up the run, and then get the girls back into their space, because it's a fairly big space that we have for them. It's just not the best coop. We had all these like fancy fall ideas of having a hobbit coop, and it's gonna be great because we had seen one online and it was like the cutest little thing ever. Well, this is best as a playhouse and not a chicken coop. It is really difficult to like get in there and clean because of like the round door ended up like having issues, and it just didn't end up being like how we wanted. And yeah, so we're going to fix that because it's okay. Sometimes you have an idea and it doesn't work out. It's okay to fix it. It's okay to say, that project kind of sucked. So we're going to fix that, and I'm going to show you the new coop and the easy setup for it is. Then I'm going to be moving the girls into their new temporary space while we fix this one. Taking out the trim, but the sides, you can see the plywood was just starting to peel. It's definitely not good. made some spider friends. So we have all of this area to really revamp and close this up a little bit better and fix the mesh that the tarp and the weight from all the rain kind of just knocked it down. But yeah, definitely have a lot of fixing to do. So this one decided to run off on me. We took apart the hobbit house yesterday, whoops, and because she ran in there and she's impossibly difficult to catch, I had to put on temporary netting over here, and I'm just taking a breath because catching her is super difficult. But I had to put this here so she doesn't try to like hop up and fly off into a neighbor's side. But seems like she'd rather live in a construction zone than in the Smartcoop. Boy. Right, so the new coop is built. We are supposed to be getting anywhere between 3 to 5 inches of rain over the next few days. So we'll see if it holds up. I'm going to show you how it kind of looks inside. I just finished attaching their water system to the inside, so they have food and water inside now, which they didn't before, and there's plenty of space for all of them in a roosting bar, and they have 2 nesting boxes. It's really simple. It's very rustic looking, but I am a lot happier with this than I was with the other one. So let me show you. And this is the new coop. We added in a new window. We took the divider out of the nesting box. And we made just a simple lean-to so it can extend out, cover the nesting box, and give them protection here so they can come out and have their water. It's not fancy, it's not smart, but this has been a coop that we should have done from the beginning. It fits everything that we need, and the chickens are much happier and we are much happier. And most importantly, our big girls can actually fit in this coop comfortably. They aren't cramped. They're laying the most gorgeous, beautiful burgundy eggs. And that's all that we could have asked for. Right, Dolores? Yeah. Because happy chickens are important. Just because you have a small backyard space doesn't mean that you need to keep the chickens cramped and unhappy. And in this space, they have plenty of opportunities to climb on things. They can scratch around. And we're always putting in something for enrichment for them. Also have a closet over there to keep all of their feed and treats and anything else that we might need to store here. Underneath they have another dust bath area that they can go into when it's raining. No, don't pick on my bracelet, Dolores. No. Yes. Most affectionate birds ever. Alright, so now for the hobbit coop. Why did we get rid of it? Why did we build something completely new? And there's a couple reasons for that. So, like I showed in the previous clip, we had all these like fantastical, like fun ideas of like what we wanted to be. Like we wanted something whimsy, because whimsy can be really fun. And like we're big Lord of the Rings nerds, so it made sense for us. And we had seen one online, I think it was like $3,000 or more, whatever. And we're like, oh, maybe like we can just build something like that that's like a little bit bigger or it fits our space better. And that was fine and dandy, like it really worked. It had space. Like when all the chickens were teens. We moved them all in there. It could fit all of the 11 that we had, and now we only have 6 because we had a lot of roosters. But it got to a point where it was a lot more about the aesthetics and not the function. And we didn't really put that much thought into like the functionality of it. So it was like nice deep litter system, but it also made it so it was like difficult for us to clean. And the best way to clean the coop was through the hobbit door in the front. But there was a vegetable bed in front of the hobbit door, so we would end up having like chicken poop that would fall in, and it's like then we couldn't use it for vegetables. And the back door, we had made it as a singular door, but then it was just like too cumbersome for like one person to move. It had to be always a team effort, so then it just got to be really hard. And then it would have me just going inside of the coop to clean it out. So I'm like crouched inside of this hobbit coop, cleaning it up, and then pushing things out of the hobbit door. And it just got to be too much. And with how we had designed it to, the egg collection area was through the hobbit door, and the chickens weren't necessarily wanting to lay there because it was like too bright. It wasn't like cozy enough for them, so they were making nests elsewhere. And it just got to be a lot. We kept trying to like figure out new ways until the winter came, and it was a big rainy winter. And turns out that cabinet plywood, which is what we had on hand because we're like, oh, let's just use what we have, doesn't work outside. And you know, we're like, oh, this is just like really good plywood. And then we didn't like think about it, how yes, it's plywood for inside, it's not outside rated plywood. And it just completely fell apart in the rain. You can see there's just like ripples in the plywood. It was just awful. We were starting to have like mold showing up once like spring came, and we just had to get rid of it. And we were also in the middle of a kitchen remodel that was really a huge undertaking for us because we were doing the majority of the work ourselves. So then it's like, okay, let's find something else that works. Let's find something that meets all of our needs. In comes the Smartcoop. We're not gonna be able, like, we're not gonna need to get, you know, anything else. This is gonna solve all of our issues. The Smartcoop didn't solve anything. And then we had to build a new coop. And this one has actually been working. We've been getting a lot of decent rain. It's been holding up. Nothing has been leaking. The chickens are using the nesting box, as you can see in the clip, and they're roosting. Everything's hunky-dory, and we should have just built a really simple chicken coop from the start. One thing that we will be changing to our run is we're going to be adding more of a sloped roof so that we don't have to worry about it getting super wet in there for them during the winter time. Because we did notice with some of the rains that we had this winter, it still got like fairly wet, and we want to be able to like have them a little bit better protected. But that's pretty much it for how things went down. It's a live and learn scenario, and yeah, we made some mistakes. We learned from them, and I feel like the biggest lesson is we take time to think of what it is that we need, how it needs to function, and if we want to make it pretty, we can make it pretty after we figure out all the functionality for it, because that comes first. And then, you know, don't use cabinet plywood for your exterior. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.